What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to start this video off by saying I've been doing terrible in trading. I think I mentioned this in one of my videos, but since Thanksgiving, it's been really hard to trade. I'm about that with family time, holidays. I feel like I'm rushed a little bit, from just more internal. So I want to share kind of what's been going on. And we've been traveling too, more so than everything else. But thankfully, with TopStep, we have max daily drawdowns, and I've hit those 2 days back to back after having a really strong, $700 day last Thursday. My trading windows have been a lot smaller. I'm not spending as much time on the screens, but it's still not an excuse. So let's look at today's trade. Then I'll talk to you a little bit about just kind of my mindset with everything. What I completely forgot about is today was FOMC day, I believe. So there was Fed talks and at 11, and you can see that the market literally dumped. So if you traded Q today, it was really hard just because we were consolidating for most of the day. If I turn off my 50 EMA and we just even anchor just our open, let's just say here. So if we anchor this, anchor our opening range, let's draw our white box, and then more so than everything else, let's go ahead and anchor it. You can kind of see we stayed within inside that range. And so I did take a long here, and I was taken out at some point. I actually held too long. So that's kind of what happened today. Now, today, once the news hit closer to 11 o'clock, you can see we dumped underneath the 4-hour range. We then proceeded to dump underneath the weekly level, all the way back down to the weekly high and weekly low. So we fell almost, what is this right here? We fell almost, it's a lot of points. We fell a lot, all right, almost 700 points once the Fed talk happened. So what I could have done is been a little bit patient or not traded this at all because, once again, the opening range and the anchor VWAP is still there. But due to time, I tried to take the trades a little bit earlier and it didn't work to my advantage. So if I look at ES, which to me, ES was a better trade when the market opened today. So let's go to ES real quick. Same levels, but ES actually took off. So this is the opening range here with the anchor VWAP. You can see we left the range fairly early. And so if you would have taken this trade from here, right, you could have made, $500 right there to $600. I did not check news today. I should have checked news, but I didn't. So that's on me. But also, you can see ES dumped, and it dumped past everything, right? Dumped past the weekly level, and we may see a push down tomorrow, or it may continue on. But this right here, if you would have caught that and been in it with the news, 200 points. We had 200 points, and if you were trading a one with ES, that is about 200 times 50, give or take, about $2,500, give or take. So yeah, so kind of talking to you guys more about where I'm at. I've been mentally out of it. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm second guessing some of my trades that were happening a lot sooner are happening a little bit later. So like even to take this trade right here and catch it, you'd have to be in the market for 2 hours, which requires a lot more patience. And I'm feeling that within myself. I'm feeling myself get a little bit more impatient and trying to take trades at the levels. And sometimes the level may take you out, right? So you may get into a trade here, and for example, it needs to come down here first. And so my patience is a lot less due to time, due to wanting to be present, for family events and stuff like that. One of the things that I'm really going to focus on is really slowing myself down. I'm going to wait for breakouts to happen, right? Outside of a 4-hour area, I want to also wait for a potential retest, right? To an anchor VWAP or another level of importance. Yes, it means more time, but I rather not take a trade like the NQ trade I was telling you about. Like if I would have traded ES today instead of NQ, I probably would have done better. But prime example here, rather than taking this trade early on, I could have, once again, just waited, right? And if it didn't break outside of this opening range that I have, don't trade it. right? The trade actually broke out finally right here, which is closer to 1150, right? With this anchor VWAP, right? So those are little things that I'm more so aware of. So those of you guys that are struggling, if you are struggling, if you're not struggling, but this is for those of you guys that are struggling, we all go through it. Right now, I can say that since, once again, probably 2 or 3 weeks, I've been in a slump. I'm second guessing my strategy. I need to find more time now to kind of get away from the screen. This is what I'm going to do as a newer beginner trader, is be a lot slower. I'm going to journal a lot more. These are things that I haven't been doing, right, due to time constraints, but I'm going to be journaling a lot more because I feel like those are things that are going to allow me to kind of self-talk, reverse engineer kind of what happened, right? More so than everything else. I'm going to get back to watching more videos online, right? So I can see like if there's something I'm not seeing, right? But ultimately, as I'm looking at this trade right here, as I'm looking at this as a whole, right? I shouldn't have traded NQ today, right? If I'm going and respecting my rules of it, only trade it when the anchor VWAP passes, right? Or gets out of the opening range. I'm not trading this, right? We literally were consolidating, if you want to be technical, on NQ, right? We're literally consolidating. There's 100 points. If you would have caught that on the open, right? Here's another 100 points, right? Depending on when you were getting in, I mean, we were consolidating until this real news thing happened. Okay. And I need to be better, right? I'm self-talking to myself right now as I'm doing this video. I need to be better. I need to be more patient. If I go to another day, right, which was, let's go to this right here, was Monday, right? This is a perfect example of the same exact type of trade and setup. So here's our opening range right here. So I'm gonna draw a box around it. Here's our opening range right there. Let's anchor the first candle at the opening range. And you can see within, honestly, 30 minutes, we already broke out of that opening range. The anchor VWAP is outside of it too as well. So taking this trade right here would have been ideal and happened a lot sooner. But on a day like today, this took time to actually develop, right? And so if I would have taken this trade on that day, right, or if you had taken that trade on that day, you could have, once again, caught right, there's 100 points, there's 120, right, and so on, right? This was literally within an hour, that 170 points, right, to the upside on the same exact move. Okay. And so what I'm trying to do for myself is be able to see these type of things, right, more often. So that way I can get used to seeing the setup, right? And if I would have inverted it, so like a day like today, if we were thinking shorts, and let me see if I can invert my chart real quick. If I invert my chart, this is exactly how it would have looked. Okay. If you inverted your chart, meaning we would have had to push down, we would have broke past it, opening range drops out, and then you would have taken this short from here, right, all the way down to your 4-hour level. Okay, so it happens to all of us. Right now, I am in a season of losses, which is fine, or days of losses. I wouldn't say seasons, but days of losses, and it's okay, right? So I make these videos to share wins, to share losses, to share what's working for me with my journey as of right now. And as of right now, these past couple of days, I haven't done the best, which is perfectly fine. I still have an account, right? But I need to be better. I need to be a lot slower. If I look at even my trade from yesterday, you can see that the trades are happening fairly early, 6:52, 7:05, right? 7:05, right? And looking at this trade from yesterday, I traded ES, right? So it's just happening a lot sooner or it's happening a lot later now. But even with trading ES, right, the only reason why it took me out was because I hit my drawdown for the day. So I need to be better at risk. I need to be better at entries. I need to also be better at patience too as well, and start aiming for, if possible, one trade, right? If I can aim for one trade, then I'll probably do a lot better, right? And so that is my focal point going into, these next couple of days, these next trades, is just trying to be better with everything that we have coming up. So that's it. I'll keep updating you guys on the videos on some things that work, some things that don't work. But as of right now, I'm really focused on slowing myself down, being a little bit more intentional with the market as a whole, being more intentional on my entries in regards to my trades. The levels work, which is great. But what's happening now is sometimes the trades are happening a little bit later. Right. And so with that being said, I need to be a lot slower when it comes to my entries. I need to be a little bit more patient. And sometimes it may require you to be patient for 2 hours, right, to find the best entry. So those are the things I've learned from the past couple of days. And right now, there was a video I was actually watching from another YouTuber, and he was saying that sometimes it's not the strategy that changes, it's more so the seasons that change. And I think that is kind of where we're at right now. We're in a different season, right? The presidency happened, everything was bullish, where everyone was trying to buy. Whereas now it's kind of slowing down a little bit. It's been a little bit more choppy too, as well. Right. And so we just have to find ideal trade setups to make sure that we can be more profitable and not get clapped as the market is going up and down. So that's my notes from today. And hopefully this helps just one person. If it helped you out, drop a comment. If you have wins that are working for you and things that are working for you, please share that too as well, because we're all in this to help each other out. So see you guys in the next video and talk to you guys soon.